Have you ever watched someone less talented, less experienced, and less deserving rise faster than everyone else? Maybe it happened at work. Maybe in business. Maybe in politics. Or maybe even within your own family. You did everything right. You worked hard. You stayed honest. You kept your promises. Yet somehow, someone else controlled the room. Someone else influenced the decisions. Someone else walked away with the opportunity. At first you tell yourself it's bad luck. Then you blame the system. Eventually you begin asking a far more uncomfortable question. What do they know that I don't? The answer isn't always intelligence. It isn't always talent. Very often, it's power. Not power in the sense of money. Not power through force. But power through understanding people. Because every conversation, every negotiation, every friendship, every workplace, every relationship is shaped by invisible power dynamics. Most people never notice them. The few who do quietly shape everyone else's reality. Centuries ago, one man dedicated his life to understanding these invisible rules. His name was Niccolò Machiavelli, and if he were alive today, he would still be outsmarting almost everyone in the room. Mention Machiavelli, and people imagine manipulation, cold ambition, political deception. But they rarely understand what made him dangerous. It wasn't cruelty. It was clarity. Machiavelli saw human nature without illusion. Where others saw friendship, he saw incentives. Where others saw promises, he saw interests. Where others trusted appearances, he studied motives. His writings weren't instructions for becoming evil. They were survival manuals for navigating a world where appearances often hide reality. If Machiavelli walked into today's offices, businesses, universities, governments, or social circles, his methods would still work. Because technology changes. Human nature doesn't. Today we'll explore 21 timeless laws inspired by Machiavelli's philosophy. Principles that reveal how influence is gained, how trust is earned, how manipulation works, and how truly strategic people stay several moves ahead. These laws aren't about exploiting others. They're about refusing to be exploited yourself. For more than 500 years, Machiavelli's masterpiece, The Prince, has been studied by rulers, military commanders, CEOs, diplomats, and strategists. His name became synonymous with power because he focused on reality rather than wishful thinking. He observed kingdoms rise and collapse. He witnessed alliances built on convenience rather than loyalty. He understood that fear, ambition, pride, envy, and self-interest influence human behavior far more often than ideals. His greatest insight was simple. If you refuse to understand how power works, someone who does understand it will eventually control you. Let's begin with the first law. Most people believe success depends almost entirely on talent. But talent without strategy often becomes invisible. History is filled with brilliant people who remained powerless, and average people who became unforgettable. The difference wasn't intelligence. It was understanding the rules that govern influence. These rules rarely appear in classrooms. They reveal themselves through experience, sometimes painful experience. The first law explains why. Rule number 1, study motives, not words. People reveal themselves through incentives, not promises. Listen carefully, but observe even more carefully. Ask yourself, what benefits this person? What do they fear? What are they protecting? Motives predict behavior better than language ever will. A young employee trusted his manager because of constant praise. Months later, promotions arrived. The manager recommended someone else. His compliments had always served one purpose: keeping the employee loyal until he was no longer useful. The words changed. The incentives never did. Believe patterns, not promises. People defend interests long before ideals. Understanding motives changes everything. But influence requires something more, because people don't judge reality first. They judge appearances. Rule number 2, master perception. People react to confidence before competence. Reputation often enters the room before you do. How you present yourself influences how your abilities are interpreted. Two consultants presented identical ideas. One spoke calmly with certainty. The other apologized constantly. Only one earned the contract. Not because he knew more, because confidence became evidence. Never confuse quiet confidence with arrogance. Confidence creates opportunities. Competence keeps them. But appearance alone isn't enough. Power also depends on mystery. Rule number 3. Reveal less than necessary. Information is leverage. Every unnecessary detail reduces your strategic advantage. Silence creates curiosity. Oversharing creates predictability. One entrepreneur announced every future project online. Another remained silent until launch day. Only one consistently stayed ahead of competitors. Protect unfinished plans. Execution speaks louder than announcements. Yet even silence has limits, because eventually, you must influence people. Rule number 4. Make people feel important. People rarely remember every word. They remember how they felt around you. Respect creates loyalty. Recognition creates cooperation. A CEO remembered every employee's name. Another barely acknowledged anyone. Guess which company enjoyed stronger loyalty during difficult times? People support those who make them feel valued. But loyalty has an enemy: expectation. Rule number 5. Expect self-interest. Never confuse temporary alignment with permanent loyalty. People change when incentives change. Wise people prepare for both possibilities. Two business partners built a successful company. A larger offer arrived. One accepted immediately. The other felt betrayed. Machiavelli would simply call it changing incentives. Trust people, but never stop observing them. And if you understand incentives, you'll also understand fear. Rule number 6. Never appear desperate. Desperation destroys negotiation, whether in business, relationships, or leadership. The person willing to walk away possesses hidden strength. During salary negotiations, one candidate accepted the first offer instantly. Another calmly requested time to think. Guess who received the better package? Patience increases leverage. Urgency weakens it. Power isn't only about speaking. Sometimes it's about listening. Rule number 7. Listen more than you speak. People reveal themselves naturally. If you stop interrupting, the less you talk, the more you learn. A negotiator asked simple questions, then remained silent. The other side kept talking until they revealed exactly what they wanted. Silence often gathers more intelligence than conversation. Information creates influence, but emotional control preserves it. Rule 98. Never let emotions make decisions. Anger shortens vision. Fear narrows options. Excitement encourages reckless promises. Pause first. Decide later. A businessman answered an insulting email immediately. Months of conflict followed. One emotional moment created lasting consequences. Strong emotions demand observation, not action. Now comes perhaps Machiavelli's most misunderstood principle. Rule number 9. Choose battles strategically. Winning every argument isn't winning life. Every conflict has a cost. Choose carefully. One executive spent months proving he was right. Another ignored the argument and focused on results. Only one earned the promotion. Ego seeks victory. Strategy seeks advantage. And every strategist understands timing. Rule 10. Never underestimate envy. Success attracts admiration and resentment. Rule 11. Protect your reputation. It travels before you do. Rule 12. Keep your word selectively, but always keep your credibility. Rule 13. Make decisions slowly. Act decisively. Rule 14. Don't seek everyone's approval. Seek respect. Rule 15. Reward loyalty. People repeat what benefits them. Rule 16. Prepare before opportunity arrives. Rule 17. Let results speak louder than promises. Rule 18. Never stop learning human nature. Rule 19. Build alliances but remain independent. Rule 20. Adapt faster than circumstances change. Rule 21. Think several moves ahead. Every ordinary person reacts. Every strategist predicts. Imagine two people entering the same room. One hopes everything goes well. The other quietly studies everyone. Who holds influence? Who fears losing status? Who seeks approval? Who leads naturally? Who follows? One enters the room emotionally. The other enters strategically. Hours later, both experienced the same meeting, but only one truly understood it. That difference compounds over years, until one person constantly reacts, while the other quietly shapes outcomes. Power isn't loud. It isn't aggressive. It isn't about domination. Real power begins with perception, observation, discipline, patience, and understanding people better than they understand themselves. Most people spend their lives trying to become more talented. Few spend equal time becoming more perceptive. Machiavelli understood that intelligence without strategy often remains powerless. But strategy combined with wisdom becomes almost impossible to manipulate. You don't need to become ruthless. You don't need to deceive. You don't need to exploit. You simply need to stop moving through life unconsciously. Study motives instead of words. Protect your plans. Control your emotions. Guard your reputation. Choose your battles wisely. Observe before speaking. Prepare before acting. Respect human nature without becoming cynical. Because the greatest advantage isn't having more power than everyone else. It's understanding how power quietly moves through every conversation, every relationship, and every decision. Once you see those invisible patterns, you'll never experience the world the same way again. The room won't change. People won't change. Human nature won't change. But you will. And when your perspective changes, your decisions change. Your confidence changes. Your influence grows. That was Machiavelli's greatest lesson. Not that power belongs to the strongest, but that it belongs to the person who understands reality most clearly. The world is full of people reacting to appearances. Become the one who sees what lies beneath them. Because the person who understands the game is rarely the one being played. If you're interested in Machiavelli, dark psychology, philosophy, stoicism, self-improvement, human behavior, strategic thinking, and personal growth, this channel is for you. Subscribe for more videos on psychology, power, philosophy, discipline, influence, and mastering human nature.